One of the weirdest LEGO downgrades I've ever seen is Spider-Woman in her black suit, because the figure was released twice in 2025. First in January and second in August. The first time she had dual molded legs, but the second time she was in a larger set and had just black legs, which is why she's at number 5. At number 4, we have Captain America. In the newest Endgame set, we got a broken version of his shield. We probably didn't get this before because LEGO didn't want to make the mold, but even now they just printed half of his shield and the rest is just gray. We have this Iron Man, and the weird design part is his helmet, and that is because Iron Man's figure is super loved, partially because his helmet opens. And as a kid, when I got my first Iron Man, I thought it was so cool that it did, but for whatever reason, they decided they didn't want it for this figure. We have the Winter Soldier. With his newest figure, they have removed one of the coolest parts of the character, and that is his metal arm. While they still use a silver arm, there was no printing even just for the iconic star. This is the newest figure on the list for the airport battle set, but this is not the Winter Soldier from that movie. It's the suit from the Winter Soldier movie. This is happening a lot recently. We have Thor, and this goes for most of his recent figures, as they have all pretty much come with this pretty terrible head print that was made for Beer Belly Thor. It makes him look incredibly stupid, and even worse, there were many better prints right before this one. We have the Death Dealer from Shang-Chi, and this figure is almost missing something about his design, and that is his hair. LEGO printed it on the back of his head, but they actually have the perfect way to do this hair type, and here's the piece that they used on a Ninjago figure, Mysterio, and this figure has a very inaccurate helmet. I'm not sure how this came from the version in the movie, as in the least you would think that the head inside of the glass would have some sort of smoky detail, but I realized that it is completely inaccurate, as his body is green instead of the gold or bronze that was actually seen in the movie. Luckily, they eventually fixed this, but it was still weird at release. An interesting change was Miles in the Spider-Verse CMF, who was given electricity all over his body. LEGO had just made a normal Spider-Verse Miles figure, but they had also made one for Gwen, and she was just updated for the CMF. It's where they changed Miles and then left her Ghost Spider. This figure has had two different versions, one with a cloak hood and one with a jacket hood. LEGO has decided to keep the jacket even though the cloak looks so much cooler. We have Ghost Rider. This is for all of his figures because even though the head is clearly molded in two different plastics, meaning that they had to attach it, it is one piece and the hair does not come off. We have Bucky, and for some reason this version of the figure actually has a Captain America shield. It's not a bad thing because he looks pretty cool with it, but it just doesn't make much sense. We have Ant-Man in his big form, which may not be considered a figure, but I don't care. Ant-Man was not the standout character of Civil War, but when LEGO released the airport battle set, he was, having one of the coolest builds LEGO has ever done, but that style was never used again. Instead, they changed him to this, which is cool in a different way, but definitely a downgrade. We have Hank Pym Ant-Man. This figure is very well known because he was literally not seen in any movie with this suit. The Ant-Man helmet is also inaccurate, but this specifically because the figure is a black suit version of Ant-Man. The second Marvel CMF was also themed around Disney Plus, but strangely, there was only one figure from What If, and that was Goliath. This is a great figure, but he really wasn't main and is kind of random. I do prefer him over Kahori though. LEGO chose to put Sun Spider in the Spider-Verse CMF instead of main characters like Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, and Scarlet Spider. This character was a fan design that was put in the movie, which is probably why it was included though. We have Loki. This is about his staff, because LEGO released the figure with both his staff and Odin's staff, but when they did his staff, they decided that Odin's staff with the diamond in it was good enough, even though this looks almost nothing like Loki's staff. The Spider-Verse CMF had strange choices, so it made the list again with web slinging. He looks cool, but his figure is actually inaccurate. Unlike normal Spider-Man, he doesn't have a full mask, so his hair sticks out, which could be overlooked, but his cloak is a poncho, so it's supposed to cover his front and back. Is all of the Avengers Endgame figures, which for some reason all had this same suit. I actually think it looks pretty cool, but after getting my first Ant-Man figure with this and getting my favorite War Machine, which had this instead of their real bodies, it got pretty irritating. We have Falcon. With all of his newest releases, he has had a brick build for his wings. The logical reason to do this is because the molded version didn't have a lot of movement, but the brick build is terrible. It falls apart and can't move much more. We have Wong. Now this isn't about the figure, but actually about his magic effect piece, and not only is it purple for no reason, since we all know the powers are orange, but for whatever reason, LEGO actually changed how these pieces were made. If you look at the sets from the first movie, you'll see that they actually printed on them, but they never used that again. The weirdest and what I consider the worst CMF figure ever is Monica Rambeau. While she was somewhat important to WandaVision, she's wearing normal clothes and did far less than Agatha. I just don't think that she deserved to be in a CMF. But thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing.